The name of the Xenax Imperial Sovereign is vast and weary, whispered across the cosmos in reverence and fear. His many titles sing of his conquests, his dominion, his unstoppable might. And yet, across all translations, one name remains constant. His Imperial Sovereign of Bob. Bob stood aboard the bridge of his flagship, gazing down upon the blue marble before him. Its lonely moon drifted in silence, a celestial sentinel over a world teeming with life. His golden eyes gleamed with anticipation. This was Earth, known by many names: Dirt, Terra, Gaia. The inhabitants were woefully unprepared, their defences pitiful, their fleets non-existent. It would be an easy conquest, one of many before his ever-growing empire. Another world to be crushed beneath his boot. A kneeling slave interrupted his thoughts. "My lord, we have established communication with the planet you wish to conquer." Bob grinned, his excitement barely contained. "Broadcast it to the entire fleet. Their suffering shall be glorious and most filling." The transmission crackled through the command decks of Xenak's proud armada. A monotone voice echoed throughout the fleet. "This is the United Nations of Earth. State your intentions." Bob puffed out his chest, his voice booming across the void. "I am his Imperial Sovereign of Bob. This is the totally voluntary conscript fleet. We will invade and conquer your world and your people. Should you submit now, we shall grant you the mercy of servitude, without the need to execute every first and second son and daughter." The silence stretched for a moment before the voice returned, as even and mechanical as before. "Understood. Please provide us with 1 hour to properly prepare for your attempt at conquest. Tourists have already started evacuating to proper designations." Bob blinked. "Tourists?" "Correct. Your arrival has been listed in the Galactic Invasion Tourism Guide. Demand is high. You are the 5th invasion this month, but your fleet's grandiosity has drawn special interest." Bob turned to his Arklords, grinning ear to ear. "This'll be too easy. They are so complacent they've turned invasions into attractions." The transmission resumed, the same monotone voice speaking once again. "This is the United Nations of Earth. We intend to resist your attempt at conquest. However, for the sake of visiting dignitaries, corporate sponsors, and independent war correspondents, please adhere to our standardized invasion protocols. We request no orbital bombardment beyond designated destruction zones. All conflict should be contained to approved battlefields. Damaging cultural landmarks will result in legal repercussions." Bob scratched his head. "Are they setting rules for their own conquest?" His Arklord, Argwoods of House Xenax, nodded in agreement. "Shall we proceed, my lord?" Bob waved a dismissive hand. Yes, just avoid the tourist observation sites." The invasion was, at first, disappointingly uneventful. Only 2 aircraft opposed their descent, and they were swiftly obliterated. The troop carriers touched down, their doors hissing open to reveal the elite warriors of the Xenax Empire, only to be greeted by floating drones broadcasting their arrival, live to an eager audience across the galaxy. "Welcome to Earth. Please be advised, resistance will be unpredictable and may include asymmetrical tactics. Casualty insurance is recommended for off-world observers. Please avoid entering active combat zones without proper authorization." Then the battle commenced. Artillery rained down. Enemy forces emerged from the shadows, and every encounter was recorded from multiple angles. The totally voluntary conscript fleet suffered ambush after ambush, their attackers using guerrilla tactics with alarming efficiency. And yet, through the chaos, cameras captured every dramatic moment. Bob led his forces into a town, only to find human civilians gathered in designated safe observation zones, sipping drinks, watching on massive screens, and placing bets on the battle's outcome. One of them, a woman in red with reflective stripes, greeted him. "Ah, you must be the invader of the day. Lovely. We appreciate your participation. Please note that attacks against medical facilities, media broadcasters, and food vendors will result in immediate disqualification." Bob stared at her in disbelief. "Disqualification?" Yes. You see, Earth receives so many invasions that we had to organize them properly. There's an entire economic sector devoted to it. Sponsors, commentators, merchandise, you name it. You should see the betting odds on your survival. Bob's eye twitched. This is supposed to be a conquest. The woman nodded sympathetically. Yes, it always starts that way, but don't worry, you'll have fun. Everyone gets their moment in the spotlight. By the way, we're running an event soon. Would you like to give a speech? We find it enhances viewer engagement. Bob opened his mouth, then closed it. He has stormed into this world expecting cries of terror, not interview requests and event planning. Somewhere in the distance, a human child pointed at him excitedly. Ma'am, look, it's Bob. Can we get his autograph? And that was when Bob realized this was not a conquest. This was a spectacle. And he was just the latest attraction.